Hi, we are ready to look at our DSA or Developmental Spelling Analysis assessment. This comes from the professional text Word Journeys. I know a lot of you mentioned that on the form that I sent out that this is something that's used in your district. So hopefully many of you are familiar with this. This packet here gives you specific directions on how to give the assessment as well as the forms. So I'm just going to go over it with you quickly. At the beginning, it tells you where to start with all of the different grade levels. I will tell you that I always start with the beginning stage, which is LN or letter name, especially if it's a struggling learner, because I don't want to have to go backwards. I'd rather just start from the beginning, let them have some success if that's the case, and that will help them feel more comfortable. That is just a personal preference. Kindergarten should not be administered this assessment until the end of the school year. So this needs to be given to at least an end of the year kindergartner. That's the youngest you could use. So these are the directions on how to administer the DSA and recording results. So you can go back and refer to all of that. These are some examples. So let me just show you. This is the form where where the student is going to write the words that you call. So it's just like a typical spelling test. This tells you at the top that this is the first one. This is letter name, LN. I use Form A at the beginning of the year. I use Form B at the end of the year to show growth. And so the first thing you want to do is have your students take the test. So if you keep going through this packet, you will find this is the letter name, DSA Form A. This is the list of words. So you will call this list of words and read the sentence as an example, and then the students will do their spelling test on that page. So you would say jet. The jet made a safe landing. Jet. And then move on to the next one, just like a traditional spelling test. Okay? So let's go back. This is where you are recording it. Okay? After they have finished the test, you are going to score it, and the scoring is different than a typical spelling test. You're going to first go through all of the words, and every word that they spelled correctly, you put a 2 next to the word. So you would see this done on this example here. So these words were all spelled correctly. Okay? They put a 2. After you put all of your 2s, you want to count the number of 2s. We're not adding our 2s. Be sure that you note that. We are counting the number of 2s. You're not adding. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 2s, which is why we see this number here. So if your student scores 12 or above on the assessment, then they would go on to the next one. So after you finish scoring this one, they would move on to the next stage, which is WW or within word. If I had scored this and the number of 2s ended up being a 5, that is below 12, so we would stop the assessment and they would not move on. So 12 and above, keep going. Below 12, stop. Okay, so now we've decided that. Now you want to go through and look. Let me find the sheet. I'm sorry, it's difficult, I know, seeing me fly through here like this. Here we go. You also have access to these. This is the answer card, so you can use this to help you score. Not that you don't know how to spell the words, but because there are certain features that are being looked at in each word that they're given, and I will show you that in just a minute. So now you're going to look at the words that did not get a 2. So that's all the words that are left that did not score a 2. And you're going to see, did it at least get the feature correct? So looking here at number 2, they could have spelled everything else about ship incorrectly, but if they had the SH, then they would have gotten the feature correct, and that would be 1 point, or put a 1 next to it. Okay, so let's go and see. Okay, let's look here. Number 19. Let's look at what that word is, because they didn't get a 2 there. Number 19, the word was dish. And as long as they had the sh, then they would score a 1 next to it because they got the feature correct. Okay, so let's go back and look. And there is that SH, so they got that 1. Okay, so now you're going to go through and score all of the ones that don't have a 2 next to them and look and see if they got the feature correct. If they did, you are going to put a 1 next to them. And then all of your words that you have left at this point are words that they didn't spell correctly and they did not get the feature correct. So you would score, you would put a 0 by all of those. Okay? Now, at the bottom, you have this little grid. So on this grid, you're now going to mark all of the ones that you made, that the student made a 0 on. So number 6 is a 0. We would find number 6 right here, and they just put a line through it so that they could do it, so they could see it. You could put a line through it, you can circle it, you can highlight it, whatever you want to do. Number 7 was a 0, so that's been marked. Number 12 is right there, and they did not mark it, so that should be marked. Nope, it should not because it's a 1. Sorry. Okay. Just the zeros. So that's why 12 isn't marked. So 6 and 7 should be marked. Excuse me. 14 should be marked. 15 should be marked. 23 should be marked. And 25. Okay? So now all of those are marked, and you're going to go and you're going to total how many were correct in each column. So in column A, there were no errors, so there was 5 correct. Column B was 1 error, 4 correct. C, 2 errors, so 3 correct, and so on with D and E. Okay? And what you will do is, if you look at this sheet here, this is the record sheet, so you're then going to put these scores, 5, 4, 3, 3, 4. This is the letter name stage, and so you would put 5, 4, 3, 3, 4. And so the lowest numbers was C and D, so those are areas that we need to for sure address with our students. Probably would be a good small group thing to do. So C and D, if we look, C is short vowels and D is the affricate. So those are the 2 areas that we need to work on with our student in the letter name stage. Okay? So remember, 12 and above, this student made a 13, So now we would move on, excuse me, and we would give him the within word test. If he scored 12 and above, we're going to move on to the syllable juncture test. If he moves on, I do not have those in here. The derivational constancy is the last one, DC. So if you are working with a student that gets that far, please let me know. That is really adult spelling and doesn't happen until, I would say high school generally, late middle school, high school is when they start getting that. So letter naming is about first grade. Within word is about second and third grade. Syllable juncture would be about fourth, fifth grade. And then the last one, derivational constancy, yes, is adult spelling. So it's usually late middle school into high school. So if you have a student that gets that far, I know that I have the syllable juncture forms, and I will get those to you. I just don't have it here in this packet. Okay, so good luck with giving the DSA. If you have questions, please let me know, and I will be happy to help you.